Let's talk the political ramifications of this. It could work in Obama's favour if all goes extraordinarily well. If it goes badly, if there's seen to be a breakdown politically, it could work against him. Joining us now is Professor Edward Blakely, disaster recovery expert, also an expert in the US. He's with the US Studies Department at the University of Sydney. Edward, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thank you for your time. First of all, a lot of lessons have been learnt as a result of Katrina in the United States, and as a country now, it's much more prepared for a disaster like this, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And you can see from the footage you've already shown that people are not going out. The authorities are well prepared. They battened it down. They've evacuated the people they have to. And that's what the election's all about right now, how good it looks on the ground. And it's looking very good.
Is this the correct way to analyse it? As long as everything continues to go well, the president will continue to look presidential, will look in control as commander-in-chief, and should do very well out of it?
Well, he should. Yesterday, he was at the FEMA Center. He's already out talking to people, looking like he's in charge, running things. That's very much different from Mr. Bush, who was absent, and he had a person on the job who wasn't competent. So the president looks very good. But the election here has two pieces we're not concentrating on. One is the presidential election, but there are a lot of local elections. And so if something goes wrong, people are going to look at their local officials. So if I were a local official, I'd be a little bit more nervous than the President of the United States because he's looking very good right now.
When we talk about Katrina and the disastrous impact that it had on people's political psyche there, they associate it with Bush as being Bush's disaster and so as being a Republican disaster. Is that in itself a negative for Romney?
No, it isn't. Mr. Romney was governor of Massachusetts, where they did very well during disasters, and so he will parade that out as evidence in his favor. But right now, we're getting right down to the hairline. This is a situation where if a few of your voters don't come out in a key state,
absolutely,
it's over. So let's look at this from the Romney perspective. He has a lot of rural voters out in the country, in the regions.
More effort needs to be made to vote?
That's right. They have to drive to the polls. So there'll be all kinds of things done. There'll be buses and things like this sent out into rural areas. The president's voters are in cities. Now, if they evacuate, they can't get back in. So this is a really interesting dilemma for both of them. But it's like footy, you know? It gets wet on both sides of the field.
Yeah.
So
it's interesting too. Let's talk very quickly. Let's talk early voting, because for Obama that's particularly important. You look at electorates. You look at states like Virginia, a very important win state for Obama. Early voting important. Is this going to affect early voting?
Well, early voting's going on now. So Mr. Obama has an advantage because a lot of the seniors do the early voting. They vote very early. It's the younger people who wait a little bit later. And now it's too late for them. They're going to have to go to the polls. The early voting will probably be shut down or nearly shut down. For Mr. Obama, that's probably okay. But for Mr. Romney, it's not good news.
All right, so in a nutshell, Obama has effectively told the people the campaign to a degree is over. I've got to pull myself away from the campaigning. It is more important that I act as commander-in-chief and look after this disaster.
That's correct.
That is the line that he should follow, isn't it? That should go very well with the electorate.
It should, but we're only focusing on 4 states. Ohio, he must win Ohio. Virginia, Colorado, and Pennsylvania. This is a race not about the American vote. This is a race about the vote in those 4 states.
Who'll win?
I'll tell you on Wednesday.
Edward, thank you very much for joining us. A pleasure talking to you. Professor Edward Blakely.
Thank you.